Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're unpacking something that I think is it's a pretty deep structural failure at the heart of regulated industries.
It really is. It's this constant, unforgiving tension that just defines life in the field.
Right, this breakdown of the traditional, form-based workflows. And we're going to look at how the shift to a structured chat-first approach is becoming the only reliable way to get both speed and auditability.
You've got it. On one side, you have that field urgency. The MSL, the rep, they need to act fast, they need to engage.
The other side.
Compliance friction, that non-negotiable requirement to meticulously document every single step, every decision.
And that gap, that collision right there is where so much risk and non-adherence begins.
Yeah.
The process itself is the problem.
It absolutely is. And to really get this, I think we need to drop you right into that moment of friction, the one that happens, I don't know, dozens of times a week.
Let's do it. So picture the scene. You're the field rep. You've just run out of a meeting. You're in your car. The engine's idling.
Your calendar's pinging you.
Exactly. It's, say, PM. Dinner's about to start. And you have that sinking feeling. You completely forgot to confirm a critical speaker invite for next week. You have maybe 90 seconds to get an answer.
And that 90-second window, that's where the traditional system it guarantees failure, because that simple invite requires this agonizing multi-step process.
We call it the 7-screen moment. And if you're in the field, you know this feeling. You're bouncing across 7 different places just to piece together one answer.
Right. You start in the CRM, Viva, Salesforce, whatever it is, checking engagement history.
Then you have to jump over to the FMV reference tool, the fair market value tool, to check the spending cap for that event.
Then you're digging through email, looking for that policy PDF your manager sent 3 weeks ago. You're logging into the expense portal to verify that doctor's year-to-date spend.
You're pulling up your own personal notes, trying to remember what went wrong last time, and then what happens?
Inevitably, you give up. You give up on the enterprise tools and you jump into a messaging app to send a quick text to your manager for a gut check.
It's exhausting just describing it. And that right there is the immediate audit breakdown.
Exactly. The final critical decision, the yes or no, that carries all the risk it's made in an untracked app, completely outside the system of record. All that context is gone.
So all the data entry that comes after is it's that dreaded backfilling exercise.
Yep. Hours later, maybe days, you're just filling in fields to make the form save, not to capture the truth of what actually happened.
The field team doesn't want a workflow. They don't need a multi-step process. They need guidance. They need a decision.
And this is the key takeaway when you look at the adoption data. It's simple. Decisions create records.
So that's the core challenge then. Why do these standard forms, these navigation-heavy UIs, why do they cause systemic failure? I mean, they're designed to capture data.
They are, but they're optimized for capturing clean data points for a rigid database. They force you down a perfectly straight path, but real-world compliance work is. It's messy. It's not linear at all.
That brings us to what I think is the non-negotiable truth of all this.
Forms are UI for computers. Conversation is UI for humans.
And that distinction is everything, isn't it? Because when you put that form-based UI in front of a messy, regulated workflow, you hit what you call the ambiguity trap.
Immediately. Think about it. There are at least 3 kinds of ambiguity a form just can't handle. First, identity ambiguity.
Which Dr. Smith is this?
Exactly. Is it the one in New York or the one in California? You need the correct MPI, the state license status, you need it instantly. A form makes you guess.
Okay, what's number 2?
Engagement type ambiguity. Is this just a simple educational dinner, or does it cross the line into a consulting event that triggers way more scrutiny? The form has a drop-down, but the real world has nuance.
And the third one, which I think is the worst, is just missing context.
The worst one. Did this doctor already hit their annual spend limit? Was there a recent policy change for their state? A rigid form can't tell you that, so it forces you to input what you think is right, which is often wrong, just to move forward.
And this whole problem is just compounded by what we've built over the last decade, which is the Frankenstein stack.
Ugh, yes. You have your CRM, say Viva or Salesforce, and it's bolted onto your ERP for finance. You've got spreadsheets for local tracking, email for approvals, external expense tools.
And that's not just a pile of apps. That fragmentation forces the rep to manually copy and paste data from one system to the next.
And we all know copy-paste is a major source of error and risk, period. The human brain is a terrible middleware layer.
It really is. So what happens when that rep is blocked by 7 screens and copy-paste risk?
They find the fastest path, they resort to workarounds, they make the decision on a messaging app, there's your shadow IT problem, and then they backfill the formal log later on.
So they're creating records that look compliant on the surface.
They're compliant in form, yes. They have a timestamp, the required fields are filled in, but they are critically deficient in contemporaneous evidence. There's no proof of intent.
So if an auditor shows up 6 months from now and asks why a decision was made.
The formal system has no defense. The evidence is missing.
So if the workarounds are the symptom and the 7-screen moment is the disease, what's the actual cure? It's not another gate, right?
No, absolutely not. We have to move the moment of capture, move it from the end of the process to the very beginning of the decision. That's chat-first orchestration.
And let's be super explicit here. This is not some generic, open-ended chatbot that might just make stuff up.
Not at all. We're talking about structured conversation. It's designed specifically to orchestrate regulated intent. It's built around the human decision, not the bureaucracy that comes after.
It completely flips the philosophy.
Right. We shift to intent first, paperwork second.
I like that.
Yeah.
So this creates a simple, repeatable rhythm. Let's walk through the 4-step blueprint. I want you to focus on why each step matters for, audit defense.
You got it. So step 1 is ask. The user provides natural language intent. They just type, "Can I invite Dr. Smith for dinner next month in Denver?"
Okay, from an adoption standpoint, that's immediately better.
Yeah.
No clicking through 5 menus.
It's fast, it's simple, and it captures the human question, the intent, not some database field.
But wait, if they just type a question, how do you ensure there's clarity there? Doesn't that increase the risk of ambiguity?
That risk is handled in step 2, decide. The system doesn't just give a vague answer. It provides a structured output before the user commits anything. We call it a decision card.
And what's on this card?
It shows the boundary conditions, the risk tier high, medium, low, the allowed FMV range for that specific interaction in that specific state, and crucially, it lists what required fields are still missing to proceed.
So it surfaces the guardrails instantly. That's huge for speed. I know where I stand right away.
Precisely. It gives the rep guidance, not a roadblock. And from a defensibility standpoint, the system can prove the guardrails were explicitly stated upfront.
Okay, that makes sense. What's step 3?
Step 3 is prove. This is where the old stack just falls apart. The system instantly surfaces supporting evidence, usually as these simple hyperlinked evidence chips.
Wait, so instead of logging into 3 other systems to find proof, I see a chip that says credential check, pass.
Exactly. The system did the work. Those chips deep link to essential sources. Credential verification, exclusion screening results, historical spend data from the ERP. It collects the proof at the moment the decision is being made.
That's a game changer for the rep. That is time back in their day.
Right. And finally, step 4, log. The record is created automatically. An audit log entry is generated immediately. It has the timestamp, the inputs, the decision rationale, and a critical feature, a confidence indicator.
The confidence indicator. Tell me more about that. How does that help an auditor?
It completely changes the defensive posture. If the confidence is low, let's say identity verification failed, the system doesn't just block the user, it provides an immediate compliant escalation path.
So if the rep still moves forward, that choice to escalate is also logged.
Yes. The log proves the system saw the risk, informed the user, and provided the correct next step. We're capturing the evidence and the rationale as they happen, not chasing them down later.
This directly challenges that old assumption that speed and auditability are opposites. We've always been told that to be safe, compliance has to be slow.
And that assumption is exactly what drives non-compliance. It fuels shadow IT.
Because when the official tools are slow and painful,
users route their decisions to untracked channels, text, personal email, you name it. The easy path wins.
if the compliant path takes 7 steps and the risky path takes 1 text message, we all know which one a rep under pressure is going to choose.
The safest system is the one people actually use. It's that simple. If the compliant path is faster and easier than the risky one, adherence goes way up and risk goes way down.
You have to make the compliant path the fast path.
That's the entire pivot. And of course, just the necessary reminder for everyone listening, this isn't legal advice. Always follow your company policy.
Agreed. Okay, let's make this really tangible. Let's do a quick live demo narration. I'm the rep. I'm back in my car, engine running.
Go for it.
Okay, I type, can I invite Dr. Smith for a dinner in CA next month?
Instantly, in less than a second, the decision card appears.
Okay, I see it. It's clean. It shows a medium risk tier for Dr. Smith. It confirms the specific FMV range for a meal in California. And Yep, it lists the required fields I still need, like the business purpose.
And right below that, you see the evidence chips have already populated.
Wow, okay, this fast. One chip says credential check, pass. Another, exclusion check, verified. A third one shows history, $4,500 YTD spend. That just pulled from multiple back-end systems in one tap.
It did. Because the interface knows exactly which Dr. Smith you mean from your CRM data, and it knows which policy rules apply. So it surfaces the status, not the raw data.
Perfect. And I see a green confidence indicator. It says high confidence, but it also suggests verify identity if address differs. So it's prompting me to prevent an error.
And that prompt is an auditor's best friend. It shows diligence.
Right. So I quickly type in the business purpose. Now I see a big clear button, generate compliance-ready summary. I click it.
And the system gives you a concise, readable summary of the whole engagement. But the key is, behind the scenes, a full, detailed audit log entry was just created as a visible line item.
The entire interaction is captured.
The rationale, the evidence, the constraints, the final intent, all time-stamped simultaneously.
That is the difference. It's not restrictive bureaucracy. It's intuitive guidance. You get your decision, and the audit log is built, not backfilled.
The future of regulated work isn't about integrating more tools or adding more gates. That's the core thesis here.
It's about creating compliance that feels like a system that's actively helping you succeed, not holding you back. And the way to do that is with a conversational UX that produces these defensible records by default.
That's the new bar. When the compliance system is the easiest and fastest system, you solve the friction problem at its source.
We encourage you to watch the 60-second demo and see this process in action for yourself. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.